Bomb threats, because people really asking what is going on, you know?
It's being investigated, right?
Which
all
bomb?
the bomb threats you see you're talking about, right? There's a level of intelligence involved, so we want to keep it that way.
How many have been reported thus far for the year?
Well, you know, I know one thing, some people just get on their phone and make threats.
On a lighter note, Trinidad authorities could allegedly tap your phone, track your messages, and know who you called at 2:17 a.m. But 11 bomb threats later, they still can't seem to locate the caller. Apparently, the intelligence system can hear everybody's mapping, but develops poor reception when an actual threat comes through. High-tech surveillance, low-tech results. What say you? Leave your comments below. Keep it clean. Take care.
Police are investigating bomb threats at 8 places across Trinidad. 5 magistrate courts: Arima, Princestown, Grandi, Chaguanas, and Separia. Kent House in Maraval, Val Park in Valsine, and a location in San Fernando. Police have searched all locations so far, and no bombs have been found.
Trinidad and Tobago Pleasant Good day. Now, a thought just flew through my head, and it has to deal with the bomb threats 2 days ago. Now, we had about 9, 10 or 11 bomb threats. Everybody have a different number. And up to now, they cannot locate where these calls came from. Yeah. They cannot locate where these calls came from. But they could have listening on Auntie and Jen phone call, right? And they could listening on my phone call, right? Yeah, when all you hear the lines open up, you all are being listened to. When you hear clack clack, yeah, you all are being listened to. They're listening to certain people. But you can't listen on when somebody calling 9 times or 10 times or 11 times. You all can't locate who made these calls. You ain't see all your shit. You ain't see all your on shit. All your UNC party on shit. Nobody in concern. Nobody ain't worried that they're going to blow up some. No, we're not worried. We don't have time for you, scammer. Anywho, continue to enjoy all your day. Bye.
So, Caribbean cousin, Trinidad was hit on Wednesday with 11 bomb threats in just 40 minutes. Do you believe that? Or is this another way to tell the people of Trinidad, the citizen, that the SOE, once it's expired in September, will be extended? I believe that. They said they received bomb threats at the courthouse, the plaza, and also government ministers. That's just an excuse to extend the SOE. So be prepared, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. September is right around the corner, but you will be going back under that SOE. Because I don't believe that. Because you know why? They have equipments to spy on Mr. and Mrs. Hadid and Sabga. But yet still, they don't have the technology to find out who sent these bomb threats. Because why? The investigation is still going. Wow. Let me know in the comment if you believe this little trick.
We have a news roundup for you this morning. Bomb threats, crime, and economic concerns dominate today's news. The continuing wave of bomb threats, questions surrounding the police commissioner, and troubling crime statistics are among the major stories engaging the country today. Now, the Prime Minister has urged the population to remain calm following several bomb threats targeting courts, government buildings, and other locations. We are yet to see the evidence of this. Security agencies remain on alert as investigators attempt to identify those responsible. Meanwhile, questions continue to surround Police Commissioner Alistair Govera's emergency leave. The government has reportedly remained silent about the circumstances, increasing public demands for transparency at a time when national security is under intense scrutiny. Crime also remains a major concern. Police statistics indicate that 210 home invasions have been recorded, while a Tobago businessman was reportedly assaulted during a recent invasion. These incidents have renewed debate about citizens' rights to defend themselves and the legal requirement that any force used must be proportionate to the threat. In other national developments, approximately 8,000 new passport booklets have arrived in the country. However, sources indicate that applicants may continue experiencing delays. Several ministers and members of parliament have also reportedly been named for failing to submit required integrity declarations. That's a story to follow up on. On the economic front, the Inter-American Development Bank expects the country's growth to remain subdued in 2026, although the energy sector recorded modest expansion. The non-energy sector contracted. Not surprised at all. Dependence on volatile energy prices, rising debt servicing costs, and a weak economic diversification remain serious concerns. Regionally, health authorities are continuing their response to the recent earthquake in Colombia, while a powerful earthquake has also struck southern Peru. You need to check my videos on the earthquakes. Estimates placed its magnitude between 6.7 and 7.2, prompting authorities to urge residents to remain vigilant. Internationally, Russia has launched another major missile and drone attack on Kiev, reportedly killing at least 15 people and injuring dozens. Tensions have also increased after Romania destroyed an explosive carrying naval drone near a strategically important Black Sea glass platform. So, for the country, Trinidad and Tobago, the key is used to monitor the bomb threat investigation, the status of the police commissioner, the alarming number of home invasions, and the country's uncertain economic outlook. So we're going to keep paying attention to these stories. We're going to bring you updates as soon as we have them. Don't forget to follow the page if you have not yet done so, and share the video with your family and friends if you find it interesting and valuable. Yeah, stay tuned.
Greetings. I don't know who needs to hear this. Well, I know, but I just hope it finds them so that they could hear and understand. This situation in regards to nurses in Trinidad and Tobago is no problem that occurred yesterday. However, due to empathy and compassion and all these nice words that they are calling on us to exercise, that is the reason why we took so long to really just down tools. And yet still, there are still a few of us that just, we don't want to do it because the love of it. But unfortunately, we can't take love to the grocery. We can't take love to fuel our vehicles. We can't take love to see about our children. We cannot live on the compassion and this. We cannot live on it. Everything requires money. I give my time and my service for a salary. There is no way in the name of the universe that it could be normal that we are living on 2013 salaries, basic salaries, till some people don't want to go on vacation leave. Because when you go on vacation leave and your money get cut, crap will smoke your pipe. So you have people they working because why? Just to try to make ends meet. Imagine my license expired the other day. 1150, 650 was the late fee, and it was in the same month. 650 the late fee and 500 to renew it. But you telling me about compassion and compassion. So my time, what you telling me in other words, my time don't mean anything? Come on, Mr. Minister, and whoever that needs to address this, think about it and think well. You want to make it political? The last administration, they were not giving us what we wanted. So you know what? You came with the hooray that you would have tried to do something.
Dr. Abdul Richards, NIPDEC in its role as the procurement agency for the state for pharmaceuticals and then the distributor. Am I correct to categorize NIPDEC's role as both a procurer and a distributor?
Yes.
But NIPDEC doesn't actually import anything, does it?
I can't say. I understand the procurement and the distribution aspect.
You were the chairman. Obviously, you must remember that, Dr. Richards. Surely it is a matter whether NIPDEC imports or whether it acts through agents it buys from, it sends out tenders.
Yes.
Right, so do you recall any instance where NIPDEC would actually go itself to the market to acquire pharmaceuticals? The foreign
To
market?
my knowledge, Chairman, no. It was done through companies and agents.
So that NIPDEC ever so often would send out tenders that it requires for provision to the public healthcare system.
Yes.
Right. Are you aware of NIPDEC applying to the ministry for special permission to import pharmaceuticals?
I'm aware of it being a process through the warehouse.
No. I'm asking you whether you are aware that there are several applications, can you get it for me? By NIPDEC. When NIPDEC applied to the ministry to be granted special permission for importation of pharmaceuticals. There are, NIPDEC applied in we have the figures here. 27 times. I can break it down for you by year if you would like me. Why would NIPDEC, if it is not an importer or direct procurer of pharmaceuticals, why would NIPDEC apply for special permission?
Respectfully, Chairman, I do not know.
So what years were you the chairman?
I was chairman from August to 2024 to end of August 2024. I can have the dates here.
Right.
August
A lot
27,
of this,
24 to
in
May.
all fairness to you, a lot of this happened before your tenure began. But what I cannot understand is why NIPDEC is applying for special permission when NIPDEC is not an importer or direct procurer of pharmaceuticals on the international market.
In our top story tonight, a series of bomb threat reports triggered heightened security measures across Trinidad and Tobago on Wednesday, with police responding to reports involving 8 locations. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service said it received 7 bomb threat reports through different communication channels, prompting an immediate activation of security protocols and the deployment of officers to conduct checks. More in this report.
According to the TTPS, the locations named by police were the Umbrima Magistrates Court, Princestown Magistrates Court, Chaguanas Magistrates Court, Kent House, Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, Siparia Magistrates Court, Sangre Grande Magistrates Court, San Fernando Magistrates Court, and Val Park Shopping Plaza. The reports placed several court facilities among the locations requiring police attention, along with a government office and the busy Val Park Shopping Plaza. The TTPS said its security posture was heightened and officers were deployed to carry out the necessary checks at the affected locations. Investigations are continuing. And the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government said members of the public should not visit the premises at the head office at Kent House, Long Circular Road, Maraval. The ministry said it will continue to monitor the situation and provide further information as it becomes available.
These are injections that is needed. This is medication that is needed for our upkeep, especially as stage 4 warriors. We cannot afford this outside. There's absolutely no grant, nothing in place. Cancer patients, so what should we do?
Yes, so I really hope that something can be done. Yeah, because our life depends on it.
For the first time, both of Metnex's plants in Trinidad have gone quiet. Titan on the Point Lisas industrial estate has just lost its gas contract fight. Deal runs out in September, and the National Gas Company couldn't offer terms that Metnex could agree with. About 140 workers are now in limbo, and that's not counting contractors who depend on the plant too. But this isn't isolated. Atlas, which is Metnex's other plant and one of the biggest methanol plants in the entire earth, has been sitting idle since 2024. Same company, 2 decades in the country's gas business, and now there's nothing running. NGC is gas constrained, and right now they're prioritizing LNG sales abroad rather than feeding plants in Point Lisas. That's a real trade-off, not a simple villain story. Metnex is now the second multinational to walk away from Trinidad's gas in 7 months, after Nutrien shut its ammonia operations down in October. The real fear in the industry isn't this year. 2028, when new gas is expected to arrive, but arrive to plants that might not exist anymore to receive it. Petrochemical sector doesn't collapse in one headline. Goes quiet, one idle plant at a time, until the cost of bringing it back is more than anybody is willing to spend. Put us in the comment section below. Do you believe NGC knows what it's doing and has a plan, or do you believe the petrochemical sector in Trinidad and Tobago is in real trouble? Leave your thoughts as always, and like and follow.
On behalf of the constituents of St. Anne's East, especially my elderly constituents, I would like to raise a very important issue, and that is the shortage of drugs at our health centers and the shortage of CDAP drugs. Now, I've seen this very troubling headline, and I hope you've seen it too. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that Trinidad and Tobago could hardly take any more difficulties. Thousands have been fired. People are being sent home every day when their contracts are not being renewed. And now, people can't get drugs. It's for months that persons have been going to the health centers, going to CDAP pharmacies, and not being able to access the medication that they have been accustomed accessing in our free healthcare system. Call on the Minister of Health. I call on the Prime Minister, who promised to love our people. I call on you to provide the drugs that are required to maintain the quality of life for our elderly and for our most vulnerable through our CDAP and our healthcare system. Please, we can't take any more difficulty, UNC. We need you to take care of the people to whom you swore an oath.
Hello. Many cancer patients have come to me advising of shortages of availability of medication for their treatments, of timeline gaps for radiology and the results of their radiology tests, etc., the results of their diagnostic tests in terms of the gaps, and a number of other challenges. And as a result of this, it is impacting their treatment. Now, I do understand that from an administrative perspective, there will be constraints. I do appreciate that from a governmental perspective, there will be constraints. However, we need to appreciate that cancer management is time sensitive. Therefore, this is an urgent appeal to the powers that be, to the government, to the Ministry of Health. Host a conversation with patients, host a roundtable discussion so you can appreciate the challenges the patients face and the patients can appreciate the administrative challenges, and let's find solutions.
1 in every 8 people who die in Trinidad and Tobago dies from diabetes. Not old age, not accidents, but diabetes. Wow. We are ranked 18th in the world for diabetes deaths. 18th. This small country of 1.5 million people, we shouldn't be on that list. 93% of Trinbagonians don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. World Health Day just passed. Please go and check your blood sugar levels. Early detection means early treatment. Stay tuned for more.
Can you tell me if there was a person by the name of Chantel Dan, who was a pharmacist too, that was employed at the Ministry of Health?
She was employed at the Ministry of Health.
Yes. Do you know her?
Yes, I know her.
And she reported to you?
Well, she would not have, as a pharmacist too, you would report to me as the warehouse manager. You would report to...
No, I didn't reach warehouse manager.
Okay, well...
As pharmacist
yes.
too, yes?
Yes,
Because
she
she's
would
a
report
pharmacist
to
too,
me.
Ministry of Health.
Yes.
Yes. And Ms. Dan was given leave from the Ministry of Health to serve as a warehouse manager in NIPDEC?
Well, I would think that's HR would have done, but as far as I'm aware, she no longer reported to me as a pharmacist too, and was employed with NIPDEC, yes. Yeah.
Were you part of that interviewing panel that interviewed Ms. Dan for the position of warehouse manager?
Chair, sorry, Minister, I was part of the interviewing panel for the warehouse manager in NIPDEC, which is part of the normal procedure given the principal pharmacist position and the fact that I would have communication with all parties at NIPDEC.
You were part of the panel that interviewed Ms. Dan, and she was a successful candidate as warehouse manager.
She was but I was not the only part of the panel.
But you were part of the panel?
I was part of the panel, yes.
And at that time that you were part of the panel, she was a pharmacist too, Ministry of Health.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember if she was a pharmacist too at that point in time, but I'd have to double check it for you.
She was given leave by the Ministry of Health for a 1-year period to serve as a warehouse manager.
Well, Mr. I probably have to go back and check the time frame in terms of when it was at that point in time.
Ms. Dan interviewed for this position in the year April, the period April 2023, Ms. Dan interviewed for the position. You were the acting principal pharmacist.
At the time, yes, sir.
And her resume would have indicated that she was a she was a pharmacist too?
Well,
Ministry of Health?
I don't remember right now, sir, but if it is, yes.
And she interviewed so well that you ensured that she became the warehouse manager at NIPDEC?
It was a combination of what are the requirements, but like I said, I was not the only member of the panel. There were other members. My portfolio there would have been what would be the requirements from that perspective.
Did you at all indicate that that as part of the interviewing panel, a member of that panel, that you may have been conflicted because she was reporting under your division?
Sir, I did not. It is my understanding that all members of the panel would have been reviewed and scrutinized by NIPDEC because it would have been a contracted or it would have been an interview undertaken by NIPDEC.
I'm talking about you.
If
none of the other members of the panel were conflicted.
Okay.
You were the only person conflicted?
Well, I saw it as a technical, sir.
Today is Sunday, the 16th of August, 2026, and I am compelled to make this video urging and encouraging all intercessors to intercede on behalf of our nation, Trinidad and Tobago. Last night, I had a dream, and in this dream, I was in the Twin Towers at the top floor. And suddenly and unexpectedly, a violent earthquake shook our nation. Yes, Tobago was included. It shook our nation. And in this dream, people were screaming and they were running and they couldn't believe because they didn't expect an earthquake in our nation. And today, I believe that God don't destroy a city without a warning. So for anyone who might feel, oh, sometimes we get this dream, no, it's a call from God to intercede on behalf of our nation. Intercede. In the dream, I saw it was a 5.4 that they said it was, but in my spirit, I knew it was such a more stronger earthquake than that. We need to cover our country. I urge you, intercessors, watchmen, it's time to arise and get back on the wall.
Trinidad and Tobago, a pleasant good day. Now, the politics of this country could be very demanding and draining on anyone And as I have said before, you all have to prepare. And because things not getting better. Daily, we see the Constitution, we see this country is being slowly eroded. From the quarrying situation, the threats on the government, let me go back a bit. From the threats, the so-called threats on the government ministers by certain elements in this society, as it is alleged, by the quarry operators, who is now saying that, hear what, me and Sturge good, me and nothing with the man, me and no beef with this man, we good. And we are left to wonder who is telling the truth, what is the truth? And when you have too much inconsistency of information, then you know it is a lie. Because I can't understand that this threat is so great that you called off the Independence Day parade, where you know there'll be a lot of people from Lavanti, John, all those people from the West, you know, the East-West corridor, which comprises of a certain ethnic background, you know. So you feel if you take away the Independence Day parade, you'll be robbing them. And this is how vindictive and wicked you are. Because you make sure and roll out the carpet for Moody. Because the same money that you spent on Moody when he came, why couldn't you use that money to give back to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and let them and celebrate them? But for Independence Day, where it's a day where people have pride in their country, they take pride in their country, you removed it. And that leaves me to wonder, how patriotic is the UNC government? This is something they look forward to. This is something we, the people of Trinidad, you see the fireworks thing? Yeah, you have to have that because of all the implications, the hospital, the zoo, the pets, the animals in the area, it does disturb them. I don't have a problem with you not doing that. But you see the parade, where you help instill pride in the people, you take that away from them, I have a problem with that. So, it have no threat. And when you say, oh, I'm not stopping, you see that Monday night forum, I'm not stopping that. No. You see that? All of that shows us that this whole threat thing is a lie. Because at one point, I kind of did believe that, you know, this whole Sturge threat thing was real. And one day, you know, there was a story of the boy who cried wolf. You all crying wolf, wolf, wolf. And when you cry wolf and a wolf really appear, the population will not be running to you all. They will not believe you. And this is a dangerous precedent that you are setting. You are crying wolf all the time. Wait and see. The tongue is a very dangerous thing, and what you call on yourself and all the doom and gloom you have called on this country, it is coming to pass. What you wanted for this country, it is coming under your leadership, and you are the one who have to take the brunt of the blame when it comes down on Trinidad and Tobago. And for all those who tell me, oh, they wish bad on the country, go to hell. Go to hell with that shit, because you all have been crying down the past government. You all have been crying them down and calling doom and gloom on this country. And now you want us to what? When the head of this country is pulling us down, is dragging us through the gutter, you all are telling Trinidad and Tobago, continue to sit down. All will be the bread the devil need. We have a government that threatens, her fanatics does the same thing. And she is threatening to bust the head. She's threatening her own government officials to bust their head. And I wonder if it's Pat the rat she was talking about, who it is alleged was seen in a certain hotel with the 1% fondling and trying to cut deals with them. I wonder if it's that's the minister she was talking about. But anyway, that's just hearsay, right? May say that. I don't have court close. And then Kamala jump up and say, well, the gangs are being starved of public funds. You put more than 20,000 people on the breadline. To jump up and say your biggest accomplishment is that gangs are being starved because you are fired all the contractors and they don't have any money anymore. And that is your biggest accomplishment. So Trinidad and Tobago, between all the mess that's going on in this country, which is too much, I can't even keep up. I don't have the energy to keep up with the mess. Prepare. So Trinidad and Tobago, all you read, go on social media, see what is happening in the country, because we have had a bloody week already on the roads of Trinidad and Tobago. Too much blood spilling in this country. Somebody doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. So Trinidad and Tobago, have a blessed and productive day. Bye.
So guys, in Trinidad and Tobago, there was this announcement that there is a possible bomb threat, and they mentioned some specific places. So imagine you personally waking up and then you're worried about your safety, and then again you come to discover that there is shortage of medicine across the good island of Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, what if someone or even you needs that particular medicine and then it's not readily available? What will you do, guys? So guys, for many Trinidadians, I know these are two different issues, but they are very important. So as much as both of them create the same feeling, the feeling of uncertainty, because uncertainty is all about, is it really going to happen, you know? Remember that bomb threat announcement has already raised questions about public safety. And then at the same time, there has been concerns about shortage of medicines, which is of course putting the healthcare access back into the national conversation. I know as days go by, more people are going to talk about it, yeah? So if you look at Trinidadians are talking, you can simply tell what they're asking, and that is they want to know what's going on, what's happening. Anyway, remember that a threat is not the same thing as a confirmed attack. Kindly differentiate. And also, if there is something that has reported, for instance, in this case, a reported medicine shortage, it does not automatically mean that every pharmacy or every patient is affected. So in today's video, we'll separate the two issues factually, and we'll look at how Trinidadians are reacting. By the way, if you look at the bomb threat announcement, I mean, this issue, it has attracted attention. Remember that a bomb threat announcement is the kind of news that can make an entire community to be nervous, even when the authorities tend to respond very quickly. I know probably there may be no confirmed attack, but the words only can create the fear, because Trinidadians will ask questions. Where was the threat made? What was the threat? Was the threat credible? Were the people in danger? What are the authorities doing? And perhaps, are we all safe as Trinidadians? So these are real and reasonable questions. But again, if you look at it, this is also where responsible communication becomes extremely important. And during situations that involves a threat, rumors, during situations that or when there is threat around, remember that rumors tend to spread very, very quickly. So we've seen Trinidadians talking. We've seen them reacting. Anyway, I don't know what to think about that. But the bottom line is Trinidadians are asking a lot of questions. And I know you'll understand why people are really concerned. Nobody, of course, wants to hear that a threat has been made, because, of course, they will think about so many things. For instance, parents will all the time think about their children. If you work, then probably you're a business person, you'll all the time think about your customers. And of course, ordinary people of Trinidad and Tobago will wonder whether authorities have everything under control. But then if you look at the other side of the conversation or story, some people are reminding others not to panic, and that's very important, by the way. But you see, taking a threat seriously does not mean spreading every rumor that appears online. No. It means allowing the relevant authorities to investigate. It means allowing legitimate safety instructions. And it also means waiting for verified information before drawing conclusions. Then there is this story about medicine shortage that has sparked a lot of conversation. And if you look at the issue, it of course affects people in a completely different way. If you talk about medicine, for someone who is healthy, a shortage of medicine can sound like an inconvenience. But for a patient who depends on a particular medicine, I can honestly tell you that can feel completely different. I want you to imagine going probably to the pharmacy to obtain medicine or to buy medicine that you have to use on a regular basis. And then you're told that the medicines are not there. You go somewhere else, the same answer. You try another one, the same answer. So that sounds like a supply problem, which has become a personal problem. And that's why medicine shortages deserve serious attention, by the way. If there are patients, they should never have to wonder whether essential medication will be available or not. I mean, families in Trinidad and Tobago should not have to spend several hours, from one pharmacy to the next searching for medication. And also the healthcare providers, they do need reliable supply chains to properly care for the needs of, Trinidadians that are depending on those medicines. So why do you think there is medicine shortage in Trinidad and Tobago? Because this is where we have to be really careful. Medicine shortages, of course, it can happen there are several different reasons that could happen. It could be a supply chain problem, it could be importation delays, it could be manufacturing issues, distribution challenges, unexpected increase in demand, Those are all problems that could actually lead to shortage of medicine in Trinidad and Tobago. So I can honestly tell you, it will be very irresponsible to automatically blame one person or an institution without evidence. What matters in this case is the understanding, that matters a lot, like which are the medicines that are affected, how widespread are the shortage, are the coverage, how long have they lasted, and what is being done to fix it or to fix the problem. Those are the questions that Trinidadians could probably be told, instead of them going to pharmacy A, B, C, D, and then they are not actually getting an answer or what they need. So, let's talk about the two problems that are here. And of course, one of them is kind of bigger, concern to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And at this point, this is where these two stories begin to kind of intersect. A bomb threat conversation or concern is a physical security. A medicine shortage problem is a health security. So if you look at the two items, they are different problems, but both of them, they do affect public confidence. Because you see, ordinary Trinidadians, they want to know that the system around them are working. They want to know that when there is a security concern, then authorities respond really quickly. And when there is an issue to do with the healthcare supply problem, then they're able to respond and explain to people. Anyway, I don't know what you think about that. Let me know in the comment section. Naturally, this conversation will kind of become political in some way. People will tend to ask who is responsible. Will this be prevented? Did the authorities or the relevant authority respond quickly? Why is it that certain medicines are unavailable? What is the government doing about this? So those questions are very genuine, but political arguments, honestly, they should never replace facts. If you are supporting the government, I know probably you may point to the measures that has already been taken. And if you are opposing this, then I know you will argue from the point that authorities should have acted sooner. So both of these people, if you put yourself into their shoe, they are very important, questions or perspectives. And the important thing is to look at evidence, what really happened, what was said to the public, what is the action that has been taken into place, what remains unresolved. Anyway, at the center of this all, the people of Trinidad and Tobago are not necessarily asking for perfection. They're asking for reassurance, they're asking for accountability, they're asking for transparency, they're asking for clear communication. They want the relevant authorities to communicate when something serious happens. They want solutions that are essential, because I want you to imagine as a parent, and then you hear about a security threat. Of course, you'll worry about everything around you, your children, everything, your home. And that anxiety only, it's not something that you will actually love to experience. And that's why this kind of conversation matters a lot, not because we should panic, but because the people of Trinidad and Tobago deserve confidence in the system that was designed to protect them. Anyway, at the same time, Trinidadians should be careful not to allow fear to dominate these types of conversation. A bomb threat announcement does not automatically mean that there is an attack coming. And also, if there are reports about medicine shortage, then it does not mean every medicine is unavailable. So social media posts are not automatically fact at the end of the day. And that's why people should rely on official announcement and, clear information, verified information, and it will all be good, So I don't know what's happening with the bomb threat, by the way. And also, why is it that some medicines are not enough, Anyway, let me know in the comment section below. I really appreciate your presence. I'll see you in the next video.